Welcome to Ellough Park in crunch time. It's the final round of the first full gXUK senior season. Brad Philpott's won the championship, but the battle for second is wide open. The Wombats are here. And so Jacob Sharrock is 14 points ahead of myself and Matt Roberts in the battle for second, third in the championship. I feel really nervous. Really would like to get third in the championship. I think second's probably gone. But yeah, it's all to lose. It's going to be fun, mate. I hope you enjoy watching. Okay, so welcome to testing. As is customary now, I do like to film a little bit of testing. Some of the really good racing actually takes place on the Saturday. And one thing that became very apparent straight away was, as is quite often the case, the braking zones are very short in gXUK. So it makes a little bit more sense to work with someone to get through. You see there that I just pushed Brad Philpott ahead of Alex Van Gien. I've done the same thing to Simon Fuller there on the next lap, and it's really useful actually to have a look and see where you are in comparison to other drivers. Now, Brad Philpott, as the series champion-elect, is a useful guy to follow actually, because you can see how close you are to what is likely to be the ultimate pace. There's a few drivers who are right up there and who are likely to be putting the best lap times in, and Brad is one of them. So if we can stick with Brad, then we'll know that we've got a fairly decent chance of getting a reasonable set of results. We get a really good slipstream down through the S's and into the pit entry corner there. You can see I'm just over driving a little bit, perhaps half a mile an hour too much, a little bit wide on the exit there, but more or less we've been able to maintain this gap. So that's useful to know. That's good. That means that we're more or less on the money. Just into heat 2 now, or heat 2 of testing. The man that we've just had on our left-hand side there is Jacob Sharrock. He's another front runner. He's the man that we're fighting with, along with Matt Roberts for P2 in the championship. I get wide on the exit of turn 3, and he sticks his nose back up through, and that's useful as well, isn't it? To know that, you know, if you make the slightest error, that's where someone is going to punish you again. Again, back through the S's here. There's a driver ahead of us in the red suit. Keep an eye on him. That's Tom Sullivan, henceforth in this video to be known as Sully. He's a new entrant to this class, but I believe he's a very accomplished Rotax driver. So he's going to be very quick. He's going to be making some appearances in this heat here. We go up the inside of Jacob again and try and do him on the brakes actually into turn 1. There's not a huge braking zone there, and there he gets the up and under and comes back at us. And you'll notice that he just tapped his side pod there. He's saying, let's work together. Let's see if we can catch Tom Sully up ahead. There he is. That's Sullivan there. So have a look at that gap. Let's see if we can close the gap just by working together. We've had a little scrap with Jacob. We've worked out how easy it is to be re-overtaken if you make the slightest error. All good learning. But now let's learn how quickly cooperating with a driver can actually be. So again, we pushed Jacob up the front straight. He gave us the thumbs up, and we're pushing him through the S's now. That's okay as well. We push someone in a straight line. We're going to push him on the exit of this corner here. There we are. Slipstream very powerful, as is always the case in gXUK. It's what makes for really good racing actually. It's quite difficult to break away. Again, we're going to push Jacob up the front straight here. Does it look like Sully has gotten a little bit closer? I think it does a little bit. Oh dear, we make a terrible mistake in turn 1. We lose maybe half a second to a second there. So Jacob's looking quite a lot closer to Sully at the moment, but I'm not. I have to work really hard over the course of this lap to try and get onto the back of Jacob again and work with him through the S's now. It's a nice area of the track. This quite challenging. Sullivan dives into the pit lane. He's learned all that he can do for this session here, and I've managed to get kind of close back up to the rear bumper of Jacob. And Karting Live TV were here. Here's Carl Power. He's supposed to be filming Brad Philpott, filming me instead.
Here's Matt Roberts. Fighting it out for P3 in the championship today.
For my liking.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Apparently we're starting every heat together, I think.
2 out of the 3, yeah, we're side by side. Same points, fighting for P3 in the championship.
Starts?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll work together and we'll win it, won't we?
But not as a team.
Yeah.
Teams are bad.
That's right, yeah. And this man over here...
Because if you work as a team, you get disqualified very quickly.
And this man over here, I'm not in his good books because as a series organiser...
You're not in anyone's good books.
I thought it was a good idea on Friday practice session to fire him off into the barrier. So on a scale of 1 to people that you don't want to hit off, the series organiser's got to be right up there.
Never be faster than the organiser because that's the fastest way to the penalty book.
Wise words from Mr. James Purchase there. So we're going to go straight into Heat 1. We're starting P5. We're on the inside. That's useful. And like I mentioned a moment ago, we are going to get the benefit from the live stream and some live commentary. So we'll have a look at that. We break a little bit early and go for the cutback. Alex Van Gien, you see just on our left-hand side there. We're actually 3 wide, but I don't really realise at the moment. But we go from P5 up into P2. We hold a really tight line on the inside. Dom Hem, just the one car ahead of us now, so this has gone rather well. Dom gets a massive slide on the exit, and that's going to give us the run down through the S's. We're on the inside line. We take a huge lump of curb there to try and avoid him. There's a little bit of contact between us. Into the pit entry corner, we just take a small tap on the rear, but that's okay. We're going to go into the lead from P5, so that is a remarkably good return on lap 1.
Hall,
this is live TV.
Charlie Furman on row 2, and we are going green, and we head down to turn 1, which is Degner, and it'll be all 31 karts that will make their way around. And this is where you can't get it wrong, because look at that, everybody there was in the lead, it seemed. Into Shoemaker.
And we've got a few off.
We've got at least 3 off. They're going to come round at the back of the grid, and it's so easy, so very easy to fall down the order. This is this class of racing here on this GX engined adult senior level GX kart. This is a new innovation, isn't it, from Access?
Yes, so this configuration I think I'll take a step back. So the inspiration came.
Yeah, so really, really useful start for me there. And obviously an unfortunate one for the guys on the outside, going 3 wide. I did hold my line as much as possible. It gets a bit boring now because I'm just driving around. But yeah, all you can really do in that situation is hold your line, be as tight as possible, which is what we did. After a few laps though, our friend from testing, the 25 of Jacob Sharrock, has made a move on us, and I couldn't believe how quickly he caught me. I felt that in practice we were kind of really on pace with him, but Jacob from practice to race day has found a huge chunk of time, and some of the reason for this becomes apparent after the race. In actual fact, I don't know if you remember, but when we were in testing, we were kind of gaining on him out of this corner. Today, what you're going to see is him and Matty Roberts have some amazing drive on the exit. Jacob really close to the wall there, dicing, and he goes semi-defensive, but we're not in a position to punish him. But what you're going to see now is Jacob basically just driving away from me, particularly in all of the exits. Just there, you can see that he's just gapping us slightly, and this is normally part of a track where you can benefit from a little bit of slipstream, but Jacob's acceleration out of the corners is so good. Now the reason for that is gearing. I thought that my gearing was pretty good, and certainly on the Saturday I appeared to be on par with the fastest guys. But what's happening here is Jacob is just out of every exit. He's going to do it here as well. It's quite subtle. When you're actually driving in the car, you can see it a little bit. It's a little bit more obvious. But Jacob is just going to slowly edge away from me on the exit of every single major traction zone. Jacob's running a 20-tooth clutch and an 18-tooth sprocket. I'm running a 78-tooth sprocket, so we're 2 down on teeth. Now that should give me a little bit more top-end speed, and I think it did, but it wasn't worth it. The acceleration that Jacob, and later on in this heat you're going to see Matt Roberts, the acceleration they get out of some of these corners when some of these slower corners, I just can't live with it. So I did change my gearing after this heat. Unfortunately, I don't own an 82 sprocket, so that's a big problem for me, because that's the one to be on today. And my two main title rivals are have got their gearing bang on, and other very, very quick guys you're going to see in the final. Tom Sully Sullivan, he's running an 82 sprocket as well, and it's just going to be very, very difficult to stay on par with these guys. You see, Jacob is just edging away, just walking away from me, and I can't live with him. Karting Live TV
really is that's a good promotional program that you need to fire people towards, because it really shows this in great light.
We've obviously done the normal type of promotion. We've advertised the class, explained the class, but really it's been the drivers who've driven the numbers.
Yes.
They've been. I suppose it's a different breed to your TKM drivers who are coming back to the sport potentially, and they just want to come out and enjoy the racing, whereas these guys are new to it and they want to show it off. It's something that they haven't done before and they really want to talk about it. So they really have grown their own class here.
I can see this taking off on a national level for seniors because of the cost effectiveness. Great racing here. So down the inside of Alex was George Massey there. Didn't quite come off. And here comes Brad Philpott on the O plate, on the purple and black kart there.
So yeah, as you can see, a really, really good battle going on behind. Obviously, my footage doesn't really show that, so I'm going to splice in some of the live stream footage there. Amazing to have these guys doing the live stream kind of TV. It was live streamed on YouTube, but an amazing sort of to have them here. It really makes you feel like a proper racing driver, and it really, I think these karts look excellent on the live stream as well. They look really, really good. The racing looked amazing. But you'll notice that I've gone sort of slightly defensive here. This is the last lap. I'm going to go defensive again, because main championship rival for third place, Matt Roberts, is all over the back of me, and he's out-dragged me. There he is. Just a small amount of contact, but fair enough. There he is. He's out-dragged me out of the hairpin, and you can't hear it, and I'm glad you can't hear it, but I am not a happy boy inside my helmet. There's all kinds of unpleasant language going on here, because this is just the worst thing that could have happened. The two guys that I didn't want to finish ahead of me have finished ahead of me. We cross the line. Matt Roberts throws his hands up. He's really, really pleased with that. We finish P3 and move on to Heat 2. I'm on a 79.2 sprocket now. We're off and we go straight to the inside. There's a gap on the inside. That's really the place where you want to be. Everyone all very well behaved at the moment. This heat, by the way, is a good watch. There's an awful lot happening here. We're starting further down this time. Where did we start? I can't remember what I said. But anyway, yeah, very, very congested. We go for the cutback, see if we can go for the cutback, but it doesn't quite happen. We've got the 74 of Ethan Hall on the left-hand side, the 11 of Tom Butler of Butler Customs, who's actually sponsoring the GX class today. So yeah, big thank you to him. And we're going to go for the move on Ethan here. Now, up the inside, we give Ethan some space to work with on the outside. We don't want to force him into the wall, and he takes it and punishes us. Now we're going to be in his slipstream. You see that we've got slightly better acceleration now, having gone up a sprocket tooth, but we're still not on the ideal tooth. We're going to force Ethan to go narrow. We're going to try and get him back on the up and under, and it works. We're going to have the inside line for turns 2 and 3, and that is job done. Now Ethan actually goes on to set the lap record a little bit later on today. He's a local boy to this track, and he sets the lap record. So although we knew he was fast when we were racing him, we knew he was fast from testing, but that's actually quite a big move to make there, because I didn't realise he was going to be able to set the lap record. That's very, very impressive. Tom Butler of Butler Customs just gets it wrong a little bit on the exit there, and we're going to punish him. We're going to go up the inside into the right-hand hairpin, and that is job done. We're just going to go a little bit defensive just to dissuade him from trying to throw it up the inside. We've learnt our lesson from not getting the job done properly with Ethan there. Alex Van Gien is up ahead of us now, and we go again just defensive into turn 1, make sure that Tom Butler of Butler Customs doesn't try and throw a move up our inside. And now we've got a battle with Ben White and Alex Van Gien. We go up the inside of Alex, but Alex seemingly doesn't see us, and we have to bail out and go all over that curb to avoid contact with him there. And that really costs us, doesn't it? I mean, that's cost us, what is that, 5, 6, 7 kart lengths? So we're, a move that didn't come off and has really kind of cost us quite a lot of time. But whilst Alex is fighting with the 22 of Ben White up ahead, it has allowed me to make a little bit of time back here. Of course, the slipstream's really powerful, so if you lose the slipstream, it's not going to be ideal. But Alex is having a look up the inside of Ben. There he is. Oh, now let's get a little bit caught out and have to move to the left. I was thinking about doing the up and under again on Ben, like I did with Ethan, but it didn't quite come off. So now it's for 22 of Ben White. We're going to go really wide on the entry, and we get a hit in the rear, a big hit actually. The camera doesn't really show it because of the motion stabilisation. We've got someone on our inside here, but yeah, that was quite a big hit, and it's again cost us time, hasn't it? And there's going to be quite a lot of that in this heat. I have to say, this heat is probably the most frantic and contact-ridden heat that I've had all season. I was almost sort of thinking there's more contact in this heat than the rest of the year combined. That's an exaggeration. That's not true. but there certainly was an awful lot going on. Again, as we close in a little bit on the brakes, but perhaps a little bit too much, and lose a lot of that time on the exit. Ben's driving very nicely indeed. He's not making a lot of mistakes. He's nice and smooth, so it's not going to be easy, this. We've got Tim Kansas ahead of Ben. We get a little bit wide on the exit, but now we're in the slipstream. We're going to have a good chance into the pit entry corner, and we're on our inside. We go on the brakes on the inside, and we make it through on Ben White. Next up is the 79 of Tim Kansas. Tim just gets a snap of oversteer there and allows us to gain a kart length on him. And Tim, again, just a little bit wide, and that really helps us here. But what you're going to see is some of the best defensive driving now that I've seen all year. We're going to force Tim narrow, and there, he loiters on the apex. Full control of the brake pedal. Really impressive. It's quite subtle. And if you don't drive, then you might not kind of realise how good that was. But he just loitered right where I wanted to be. We go up the inside, and just there, we take a big hit in the rear. It's a half spin. It's not Ben White who hit me, by the way. Ben was all the way on the outside. I don't know who it was. But we lose not only the place that we were probably going to get on Tim, but we lose 3 positions. So you've got Ben White who went through, Tom Sullivan in the 46, and Ethan Hall in the 74. Very quick guys, not guys who are going to be easy. And now we've got Oscar up our inside. The wall is right there, and Oscar and my wheels connect, and we lose another 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So an absolute nightmare lap and a half for me there. I couldn't go any further to the right. There was a wall there. As we make the place back on Oscar, we've got Glenn Freeman in the 39 kart ahead. Very experienced racer, new to GX, but very experienced racer. We lost a place to Tom Butler of Butler Customs, and importantly again, we've lost a place to Matt Roberts. It's an absolute nightmare. We were making some quite good progress here. I should mention as well that Alex Van Gien and Ethan Hemp got together when I got hit in the hairpin. Ethan actually Dom actually ended up in the wall, so we did go one place up. Ben White and Tom Butler very close, but again Tom is able to get through, and their wheels don't connect. Super frustrated here to have lost about 8 or 9 places in that lap and a half, wasn't it, as a result of contact that we couldn't really do anything about. Normally I'd try and think, could I have done anything differently there? But I couldn't have moved further to the right, and I just needed a little bit more space. We do make one place back on Ben. I'm not sure what happened to Ben there, but he was very slow off the exit of the final corner. So so something obviously happened to cause him a load of problems. We go up the inside, we get a good run out of the hairpin there, and we make the move on Glenn Freeman, so that's one additional place gained. We've got Tom Butler of Butler Customs up ahead of us again, and I'm just trying to do everything I can to salvage some positions, losing that many places, and again having your main rivals in the championship for P2-3 quite a long way ahead. We were quite a long way ahead of Matt Roberts in this heat, actually, up until that disastrous moment there. And again, I know that the camera doesn't make it look like these hits were particularly big, but you can see the outcome. It was actually a sort of getting half turned around at the hairpin, the infield hairpin, as we're right underneath Tom Butler of Butler Customs rear bumper. We make the move. That's another position gained there, and now we're behind the 74 of Ethan Hall again. Can we make the move? We must be in the dying moments of this heat now. I believe this is the last lap. But yeah, these hits were pretty significant. Much bigger than the camera suggests. Anything could happen, and we're all very, very slow. People are checking up. I'm actually coming off the throttle there, and once again we take a big hit. I know it doesn't look like a big hit, but it stops us from being able to meet the apex, and Tom Butler of Butler Customs is up the inside as a result of us not being able to get away. We go back up the inside, but we have to really stop it. We have to stamp on the anchors so that we don't run into Ethan Hall, and Tom Butler of Butler Customs is able to get up the inside again, and I'm just so frustrated at this stage in the day. It's very, very rare that I'm not beaming one of these events because it's so good. But I have to be honest, there was a P12 finish. I was super frustrated at the end of this one with so much on the line, and to be sort of freight trained on the exit of two corners as a result of contact was super frustrating. So a P3 and a P12, a good heat and a not so good heat. We're starting P6 this time, starting behind Matt Roberts again, so we're going to need to make some progress here. And we're on the outside. How are we going to go? We get another hit. It's an absolute nightmare. Again, loads of loading going on. We've got Ben White on our inside, the ever respectful Ben White. Some people not in control of their karts today, but one man who is Ben White, and we're able to go around the outside. So I'm very grateful that it was Ben who was able to control his kart and not sideswipe into the side of me, and we are able to make the move there. We've got Tom Butler of Butler Customs in the 11 kart ahead of us, and what can we do here? We've got a good run out of the final the pit entry corner, and we're going to go up the inside. Jacob Sharrock is ahead of us, Paul Handley, and absolute nightmare for us, the man in the lead is Matt Roberts. So yeah, we're in quite a good position. We've made a couple of positions up. We're going to go defensive over the start-finish line just to ensure that Tom Butler of Butler Customs doesn't... have I plugged him enough now? I hope so. Let's make sure that he doesn't make a move on us. Handley and Sharrock ahead of us are having a fight. Jacob goes up the inside of Paul, and obviously you can see there that move just disadvantages them both. Obviously Jacob's made the move up, but they're much slower off the exit. I'm really close to Paul now, having a think about a move into the braking zone into this hairpin, but think better of it. It wasn't quite on. The last thing we need is to get into some contact, which loses us another 8 positions or 12 positions or whatever it may be. So we're going to have to sit and just be patient. Bit of a problem though at the moment, because Matt Roberts and Jacob Sharrock are going to be disappearing down the road at this rate, but there's no point in making a rash move. Paul is very good in breaking into turn 1. We do make a little bit of time up in turn 2 and 3. There we are. We're really close behind him now. He's going to cover us off. He knows it. He knows that we're there. So we're going to go for the cutback, and we just get a small tap on the rear from Tom Butler of Butler Customs Days, just letting us know that we're there. And that is the incentive I need to try and make the move on Paul. We're going to go down the inside on the brakes, and that is another move. I knew that if I dilly-dallied around the back of Paul any longer than that, then Tom Tom Butler of Butler Customs was probably going to take my position away from me. So I really needed to make sure that I had a move made very, very quickly. But look how far ahead now Matt Roberts and Jacob Sharrock are. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare to try and catch them. They're really, really fast guys with probably a better setup than me in today anyway. So I don't think I've got the pace on these guys, is what I'm saying. But also we found that working together, they're not, we're not working as a team here, but they are cooperating with each other. They're not fighting. They are experienced enough guys. They've been fighting this campaign all season long. They're experienced enough to know that we're only about 3.5 laps into this heat now, and if they start fighting, myself and the rest of the pack are going to be up behind them really quickly. So they're not going to do that. They're just going to work together. They're not going to lose time fighting, and then come the end of the lap or last lap, then it's all going to kick off. But by that time, they've been bump drafting, and Matt's been giving Jacob a tow. Jacob's been bump drafting Matt ahead of me, and those guys put in a lap time which was quite a lot faster than mine. I think it was like 0.4 faster than my best effort. Tom Butler is behind me as well. He's about 1.5 seconds, I think, behind me. So I definitely can't relax. I definitely can't make any mistakes. I've just got to try and be as smooth as possible, and cement what is going to be a P3. So essentially, I'm gonna fast forward this in a minute. This is just me driving around in circles. But we've got 2 P3s and a P12. Now, normally a day when you have 2 podium finishes would be a fairly handy set of results. But unfortunately, Heat 2 was such a disaster that and also Jacob and Matt finished ahead of me in all 3 heats. It's an absolute disaster. But never mind. We're just going to have to work really, really hard in the final. And the final, which is going to come up in just a moment, you get double points for. So all is not lost. All is not lost. Right, let's fast forward this. I just want to add, as we're going to skip through the rest of this, thank you very much to Monkey Motorsport and to Rye House. I had 3 welds that needed doing, and the kart was jigged before this race. I did throw a little bit of money at the kart for the first time this season with the podium position on the line, and the kart felt amazing. If I'd been on the right gearing and I'd driven better myself, then I think that a really good race could have happened.
Jacob took a race win at round 3, which was at Ellough Park, wasn't it?
So there we have it, 2 P3s and a P12. It's going to put us P4 for the final. Brad Philpott on our right-hand side, Jacob Sharrock on pole, Matt Roberts in second alongside him. And just here, you can't quite see it, but an awful lot of loading going into the corner there. Now, I just want to say, because the camera doesn't show it, Brad Philpott was loaded into the side of Matt Roberts. That's not Brad Philpott's fault. We have on our right Simon Fuller, our mate from the Wombats, driving around in a Wombat costume, but we maintain P4. The top 3 have gotten away slightly, so I've got to work really, really hard to get onto the back of them now. Jacob Sharrock in second. Tom Sully Sullivan has gone from P5 on the grid to the lead.
Yeah, I mean, they've made a nice little break, those 3. It's possible they could cement this and just turn it into a battle between themselves. But even if we say this, the 4th place Tony Kart livery machine seems to be getting closer and closer and closer. Philpott.
So yeah, there we are. It was a little bit of a mess into turn 1, but importantly, our title rival, P3 rival Matt Roberts is behind us now, and Jacob and Brad get up the inside of Sully, and that's really brought me back into it now. We have a little look. Excuse me, on the exit of Sully, see if we can do anything here, but he's just got enough to see us off. He goes kind of semi-defensive, and that's going to give us a little bit of a better run out of the corner there.
Let's try and keep, make the break and keep on this. But however, we've got a train of, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've stopped counting
7.
there.
I think
It's
7.
about 7.
I'll give you 7.
Van
possibly
Gien
9.
latching on the back in 7
But
there
these
as
two
well.
are looking to break away again. Now, I'm kind of wondering about this point. What is the tactics? If you don't think you can break away, but you know you're fast, is second or third the best place to be for the majority of the race?
That's a heavy question.
Sharrock actually has just put a few
Sharrock,
yards
yeah,
between
he
them,
has.
but that will come back to nothing again in
He
2
has,
corners' time.
yeah.
But recovering from whatever the issue was, is Sully now in third.
What will happen is Philpott will have Sully come up behind him. Tom Angier will fall in line as well, and then the 2 karts, 3 karts, 4 karts will cut a hole through the air and will gain speed on Sharrock. All Sharrock can do is sit there and drive as fast and as smooth as he can, and it's all about smoothness in
And in
this one.
fairness, he's actually managed to break a little bit of a gap. I mean, and I mean a little bit of a gap.
Quarter of a second.
Well, I think it went up a bit, and interestingly, it's coming back down again. I think it might. I'm going to say he's increased his lead. Let's see. With
Let's see if he has. 0.24. It's gone out to 0.44.
There we are.
So he's put another 2 tenths.
If he does that, if he can do that every lap,
Yeah.
then that's great. But I think it was a result of a little bit of kind of like perhaps not perfect driving by people behind him. And we have now a break of 4. So that's interesting.
Yeah, because
4 have got away.
Because Philpott has not dropped off the back of Sharrock, has he?
No.
He dropped back. All right, he's dropped back 4 tenths, but now
He's closer again.
now they're coming back at him in a train of 4 karts.
But our 7.
Sully Angier are the other 2 drivers. Behind these 4, you've got Matthew Roberts, Simon Fuller, Oscar Prietti, Alex Van Gien has dropped down a 1 to 8. Ethan Hall and George Massey. That's your top 10. But Philpott now coming back towards Sharrock. There's an element of tyres coming in as well, Nick.
Yep.
So the tyres have come in on lap 3. I know there's a lot of corners here at Ellough Park, but the tyres still, need to come up to temperature before you can maximise everything.
Now, Philpott has moved towards Sharrock, but also he's moved away from Sully. And I sort of got the impression that Tom Angier there was getting a little bit concerned about this. And Angier, I think, is thinking about how, because they're now 2 groups of 2, and Angier needs to make it, if he's got the pace, he needs to make a move past Sully as quickly as possible. That's Angier's in the Tony kart, the green, the white nose just behind that. It's Sully was bouncing up and down.
So does Angier have the pace? Well, we'll find out, won't we? I think Sully ahead was running slightly higher tyre pressures, so he originally was a little bit faster. But our tyres have come up to temperature now. He's covered the inside line there very nicely. Like I alluded to earlier, he's a very seasoned racer. He knows exactly what he's doing.
The final 10 minutes and 1 lap.
Yeah, the gap between the top 2 and the rest went out to 1.2 seconds.
The battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th is beginning to heat up a bit here as Matthew Roberts beginning to challenge Tom Angier.
Yeah, just drop back to 3rd, 4th and 5th. I think there's still some kerfuffling to do that, whereas I do think the Philpott battle is going to, as you say, not explode till 2 laps to go. They'll prove us wrong now and do it next corner.
Yeah, Brad will have a go, and then
Sharrock
will come back on him. And
my feeling is it's going to be a couple of corners as these 2.
Yeah, I think these 3. I think Matthew Roberts feels like he has a bit of pace, but he's being held up. But that's the way you know what? You constantly feel like that in this class of racing. You constantly feel like you're being stifled.
I genuinely don't think that the best person to be in the lead of these 3 karts is Sully. It is for Sully, but not for the others. I think Sully is not at 100%. I think there's a little bit of a problem he was acknowledging earlier in that second lap.
And it's hard to judge because he's going very well. You know what? The slightest problem you have with your kart is going to be exacersated with the closeness
It only needs
of
to
this
be
class.
a 2 tenths or 3 tenths of a second a lap problem.
3 seconds, 3 tenths is massive. 300s, 3000s, and it's a big problem in this class.
Now,
seriously, I mean, they are so close. It's
the
going to
14
matter.
kart really looking left and right there, and that was Angier really thinking about, can I dispatch Sully? The only problem is at this point with 3 minutes to go, I'm not sure he could have any chance. I know the gap's only 1.5 seconds, but bridging that gap's going to be really hard. Oh, it was a big drop there. It went out by 4 tenths between second and third there.
Sully aware. Oh, and look at that. Sully's tactic into that right-hander at Degner really paid off for him because he's absolutely dropped the 2 behind. And there's the move. Fourth place as the number 53 of Matthew Roberts. And they're coming back. They're side by side now into the very fast
2
swing.
can't go in here.
They're trying though, aren't they?
Oh.
No, they sort themselves out. Matthew Roberts ahead of Tom Angier, but Angier caught napping a little bit there. And
And
it was all about coming out the ding though, like way back.
Yeah, Andrew had to back out of that. He didn't
We're
want
back in the
to.
lap.
He had to back out of it. Right, so this is now a chase they're going to put on. But we are now at 2 minutes, so we need to go back to our leaders, please, Ash,
We're
on the
getting-
2 minute mark.
We are 13, 12, 10 seconds away from the 2 minute bell. It's not an actual bell, it's just a...
So an absolute disaster for me there. Angia was indeed caught napping, again, the worst person it possibly could have been punished me. 53 of Matthew Roberts, there he is. All I can do now is try and stick with him. We're going to get back onto the back of Sully up ahead. But it was actually my mistake. The commentator said that he had a sort of tactic. I don't know if they thought that Sully was backing me up. I don't think he was really. I made a mistake into turn one and lost again about half a second, and Matt Roberts smelt blood and took the place away. Nice clean move from him, but yeah, again, just super disappointed in myself. The kart is straight. The kart's very nice to drive. It's my own fault. We got yellow flags here, and the yellow flags actually are just as a result there. There is a kart on top of the barrier. Have a look at this. Tom Butler of Butler Customs there, as Matt Roberts has a think about going around the outside of Sully. Tom Butler of Butler Customs actually ending up on the top of the barrier. Someone checked up ahead and caused a really unfortunate kind of concertina effect. There he is. He's still up there. They're going to leave that kart up and over the barrier there. But dying moments now of this heat and this championship. The wonderful inaugural gXUK full season. We had a couple of races last year, but this is the first full season. We've got another yellow down into the bottom part of the circuit. It's Tyler Nicholson whose kart's being moved away off to the infield there. Matt Roberts moving all around on the back of Sully. And I think this is going to be it. We are going to stick to Matt as closely as possible. But at the moment, we're not doing enough. Matt has been ahead of us. I mean, Jacob's easily going to get second in the championship now. But Matt has been ahead of me, either one place ahead of me or several places, as in the case of Heat 2, all day. I'm kind of thinking at this stage what might have been. Matt goes semi-defensive to dissuade me from going up the inside of him there. I'm kind of thinking what might have been. What if we hadn't had that contact that cost us so dearly in Heat 2? What if at Lid I'd managed to secure my wheel properly? Again, Matt goes defensive and stops us from trying to take his place away. Matt's again going to go defensive. It's the right thing to do. He's got to do it. What might have been if I'd not ended up in the wall at Hooton. And again, we get a hit from behind. Super, super frustrating. But this is going to be it. That is the flag there. And it's going to be P4 in the championship. Huge congratulations to everyone involved. James Purchase, James Cannon, Tyler, everyone who makes these access karting events happen. And here it is. Can I just point out how many people have actually entered this championship here? A lot of names, 45 names, and of course down sort of the bottom half, that's where we've got people who have come to do 1 or 2 or 3 rounds, and then into sort of the top 20. This is where people who have been doing most of, if not all of the rounds, have ended up. Really excellent grid sizes here, into the top 10 now, and there it is. We've got Brad Philpott as the champion, Jacob Sharrock in second, Matthew Roberts in third, just 9 points in it in the end, me in fourth, Alex Van Gien in fifth, Russell sixth, Tom Butler of Butler Customs in seventh, George Massey, who's a wonderful racer, in eighth, Ethan Hall, lap record holder round at Ellough Park, in ninth, Tom Stalker, who's converted to a different karting series, still makes the top 10. Very good for him. Simon Fuller in 11th.
Thanks for watching Mango Motorsport, a community for racing fanatics.